This is Bergstrom's State Line Quiz Bowl. Now from the Collins Aerospace Studio at the Nordloff Center in downtown Rockford, here's your host, Eric Wilson.
Hi, we are glad you're here and Happy New Year. This is our first episode of Bergstrom's State Line Quiz Bowl for 2022. That's exciting. Can't believe our tournament is moving so quickly. I'm sure you are just as surprised. Last week, you got to see River Ridge's debut in our tournament. Hononegah pulled away at the end, but it was a fantastic match. So the Indians are moving on. One of these two teams will join them in the second round. First, let's say hello to the Keith Country Day Cougars. Seventh time for the Cougars in our tournament. In those 7 seasons, they've been to the Elite Eight or better 4 times. Last season, finished their year falling to Belvedere in the consolation game. I'm sure, Eleanor, you'd like to do better this time than last time. It's not much better you can do than that, but there's still some room for improvement. Introduce us to your starting lineup, Eleanor.
Hi, I'm Eleanor. I'm the captain of the Keith Country Day School Quiz Bowl team. To my left is Billy, to my near right is Ryan, and to my far right is Nongba.
Welcome and good luck to the Keith Country Day Cougars. Facing off against the Guilford Vikings. Let's hear it for them. Guilford has been here since day one in our tournament, a very loyal team to Quiz Bowl. This is the second time the Vikings have actually faced the Cougars. Last season, Keith got the better of them. It was a close match, 180 to 120. We'll see if the outcome is different this time. Captain JC, I'm sure you hope it is a little bit different. Introduce us to who you brought with you.
I'm JC, and this is Elena, Isra, and Casey.
Welcome and good luck to the Guilford Vikings. Both teams are ready. Hands on your buzzers. We will start with our buzz-in round. Each question is worth 10 points. The 2 most important rules: wait for me to call your name and say your answer loudly and clearly. Here is our first question this week. Good luck. Combining the ABO and RH systems, universal donors are people with what blood type generally acceptable for transfusions into most patients? Billy.
O minus.
We'll take that. O minus, O negative. You got that. And those are the first points of the game. To Keith. What state hosted the entire men's 2021 NCAA Division I basketball tournament and is the home of Reggie Miller's only NBA team, the Pacers? Billy.
Indiana.
That is right. Reggie Miller spent 18 years with the Pacers. Keith has 2 in a row. What archipelago that includes Fernandina Island is home to the sharp-beaked ground finch and many other endemic species studied by Charles Darwin? Billy.
Galapagos.
That is correct. Remember to wait for me to call your name, and you got that. Those are your 10, 3 in a row for Keith. What painting technique used by Georges Seurat? Eleanor.
Pointillism?
That's right. Using many small dots to form an image. That might have been the key clue. You didn't need it. 10 more. What novel in which Pierre Gringoire escapes death at the Court of Miracles by wedding Esmeralda is a Victor Hugo book partly named, JC?
The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
You got it. Partly named for a cathedral. That's the cathedral we needed. Those are Guilford's first points of the game. Soweto is a suburb of what most populous city in South Africa? There are a few big cities you could have chosen from. Johannesburg is the biggest. No points, new question, teams. What lake, which by volume is the U.S.'s 6th largest after the Great Lakes, abuts many ski resorts along the California-Nevada border? That's Lake Tahoe. No points, new question. A holiday honoring author Douglas Adams is named after what everyday object, which is deemed massively useful by the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? JC.
A towel.
That is correct. And mark it on your calendar. Towel Day is May 25th every year. 10 more points for Guilford. What novel, which depicts the reservation of Malpais and a hedonistic world state led by an upper caste called Alphas, was written by Aldous Huxley? Eleanor.
Brave New World?
That is correct. Those are your 10. Jacques Chirac succeeded what socialist whose term in office from 1981 to 1995 made him France's longest-serving president? That was Francois Mitterrand. Chirac would actually become number 2 on that list. What president who approved the Rush-Bagot Treaty with Britain and the Missouri Compromise presided over the era of good feelings from 1817? Billy.
Monroe.
That is correct. From 1817 to 1825, President number 5. You've got 10. What economics term whose Giffen type disobeys the law of demand describes transferable items of value distinguished from non-transferable services? Ryan.
Goods.
That is right, right before the buzzer. Kind of a convoluted definition there, but enough to get you 10 points. What city was the former capital of the British Raj, the current capital of West Bengal, and the site of a mission founded by Mother Teresa? Nangba.
Calcutta.
That's correct. Calcutta, Kolkata, either one of those would have been acceptable. You've got 10 more. What phase transition, often studied using a cold finger, is used to freeze dry food and occurs when a solid changes directly into a gas? Ryan.
Sublimation.
That is correct. And cold finger, it's a piece of lab equipment used to make a surface cold, not actually a finger that is cold. You get the 10, and that's how we end the round. We're out of time. Kind of a quick run there at the end for Keith. You're up to 90 points. Guilford has 20. Lots of game left to play. We have 3 more rounds, including our volleyball, which is next. We'll see you in a couple minutes. You can see it with your eyes. Welcome back to Bergstrom State Line Quiz Bowl, the first quiz bowl of 2022. Keith is off to a very strong start. They have 90 points. Guilford has 20, but there are still lots of points to earn, and these scores will change very quickly throughout our game. Before we get to our volleyball round, a very special thank you to our judge today, Brad Fisher. Brad is the head editor of the IHSA Scholastic Bowl State Series, and I don't think we've ever been more confident we'll get things right today with Brad looking over our shoulder. More importantly, though, Brad, thanks for giving your time to Bergstrom State Line Quiz Bowl. We appreciate it. Let's move on to volleyball. It's a conferring round, so you can work as a team. This is kind of our teamwork section, but we have to hear the answers from the captains. Because of the coin flip, Guilford gets our first volleyball question. Marin, are you ready? Here comes the first one. What compounds with alarm, food trail, and sex subtypes are molecules used by many insects and plants to influence other members of their species?
Pheromones?
The buzzer got you. Those 5 seconds moved very, very quickly. Pheromones was correct, but the buzzer came in too soon for you. We'll get back to you in just a second, but let's move over to Keith now for their first question of the round. Eleanor, here it comes. What federal agency proposed a record $5 million fine against Jacob Wohl and John Berkman for robocalls meant to discourage black voters in 2020?
FCC?
FCC is correct. We'll give Billy credit for that one. Nice job, Billy. Saw you lean over with that. You get the first points of the round. Keith is in triple digits. Now we're back to you, Marin, with a new question. What man produced the 42-line Bible and was a Mainz native who introduced movable type printing to Europe? His printing press is often considered one of the most important inventions in modern history. Johannes Gutenberg. Gutenberg's press. Back to Keith. The Violent Hanson brothers are characters in what 1977 hockey comedy starring Paul Newman, named after a fast attempt on goal? Long before you were born, and probably because of some of the things that happened in that movie, it's a good thing you didn't know, although Ice Hog fans at home, or Ice Hogs fans, I'm sure, are screaming the answer to this. Slapshot. That was the name of the movie. That's also the type of fast attempt on goal. New points, and we're back to Guilford. What novel in which a bomb injures Angela Wexler was written by Ellen Raskin and describes a competition to inherit the title millionaire's fortune? HBO Max is working on a series of this, actually, The Westing Game, named after Samuel Westing. Back to Keith. What political party, led by Sun Yat-sen and Chiang Kai-shek, fought the Chinese Civil War against the Communist Party? That was a tough one. Kuomintang, or we would have taken KMT. Back to Guilford. What artist whose tomb of Julius II includes the dying slave and a horned sculpture of Moses also sculpted Florence's enormous marble David?
Michelangelo?
You got it. That's right. Also the famed Sistine Chapel painter. And those are Guilford's points. Back over to Keith. Naproxen, also called Aleve, and ibuprofen, also called Advil, are examples of what class of drugs that relieve inflammation but are not steroids?
Antihistamine?
Incorrect. NSAIDs. The acronym is NSAID, and that stands for non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. No points there, and that's how we end the round. We're out of time. So Keith added to their score. They are up to 100. They're in triple digits. Guilford also added to their score. They're up to 30. So it's 100 to 30. Halfway through the game, our lightning round will change things very, very quickly because we know you run a category, that's 100 points added to your total. One of our teams could do that coming up next. But first, you get to play at home with the Bergstrom bonus question. We'll be right back with that answer.
Originally weighing 700 pounds and made of iron and wood, the iconic Times Square ball has been dropped annually on New Year's Eve in which American city?
Time for our first Bergstrom bonus question of 2022. We have a lot of firsts in this game, right? It's because it's the first of the year. And this question is very appropriate. So if you're watching at home, you already know this question. Our contestants have not seen it or heard it yet. Hands on your buzzers. Let me know if you know this. On the line, pizza and pasta from Lino's of Rockford. Here's the question. Originally weighing 700 pounds and made of iron and wood, the iconic Times Square ball has been dropped annually on New Year's Eve in which American city? Mirren.
New York City?
That is correct. Nice work. And you win the first Lino's of 2022. Fun fact, outside of 1942 and 43, the ball drops happened every year since 1907 and is attended by an estimated 1 million people. And if you've ever seen the video at least, of Times Square, it's not hard to believe there's at least 1 million people there. A little fewer people here in our audience, but they are making as much noise as 1 million people would in Times Square. That was your cue. We'll be back with our lightning round after this. Back for our third round today in Bergstrom State Line Quiz Bowl. It's the NECA IBEW Lightning Round. Fresh off of her victory in the Bergstrom bonus question, Marin is smiling underneath that mask. They won the Lino's. You don't get first pick in the Lightning Round, but the Lino's is a nice consolation, at least for losing that coin flip. So the first pick this week in Lightning goes to Eleanor and the Keith Country Day Cougars. And these are your three categories, Eleanor. Choose wisely. F in science, CAU, or nines?
We'll go F in science, please.
You got it. And the best part of reading these lightning categories is watching everyone's eyes when I give the vagueness of the titles of these. F in science, give these scientific terms starting with F. That's all you got. That's the best description I can give you. 60 seconds for these 10. You run the category, it's 100 points. And then JCU and the team will get 30 seconds to pick up whatever they don't. Both teams, advice, you can pass. Eleanor, you ready for the first one? Clock starts when I send it your way. Here it comes. Give these scientific terms starting with F. Temperature scale proposed in 1724.
Fahrenheit?
Correct. Preserved part of a formerly living thing.
Pass.
Appendages of locomotion longer than cilia.
Flagella?
Correct. Emission of light after the absorption of radiation.
Pass.
Common name given to adipose tissue.
Pass.
Element with the atomic symbol FM.
Fermium?
Correct. Collective term for a region's animal life, contrasted with flora.
Fauna?
Correct. Unit of capacitance.
Pass.
Group of minerals making up most of the Earth's crust.
Pass.
Mucous membranes attached to the bottom of the tongue.
Pass.
Preserved part of a formerly living thing.
Fossil?
Correct. Emission of light after the absorption of radiation. And that's the time, nothing to go back to. 2, 3, 5, correct. You added 50 to your score. That means there's 5 left on the board. JC, for you and the Vikings, you only have 30 seconds to get to them. I will read them as quickly as I can. Are you ready for the first one? Here it comes. Emission of light after the absorption of radiation.
Flare.
Incorrect. Common name given to adipose tissue.
Pass.
Unit of capacitance.
Pass.
Group of minerals making up most of the Earth's crust.
Pass.
Mucous membrane attached to the bottom of the tongue.
Flagellum.
Incorrect. Common name given to adipose tissue.
Pass.
Unit of capacitance. And that's our 30 seconds. Nothing added to your score. Those last 5 were tough. All of this first one, when you hear it, you will think, why didn't I get this? The common name for adipose tissue is fat or fatty tissue. We would have taken that, maybe fatty acids. The capacitance unit is a farad or farad. The group of minerals making up most of the Earth's crust are feldspars. And the mucous membrane attached to the bottom of the tongue is the frenulum, or more specifically, the frenulum linguae. So that's one round, or one category in lightning. There's 2 left. JC, your choices are CAU or nines. You got it. Give these terms beginning with the letters CAU. That's the description for both teams. Same rules apply. 60 seconds is on the clock. JC, are you ready for the first one? Give these terms beginning with the letters CAU. White vegetable related to broccoli.
Cauliflower.
Correct. Past tense of catch.
Caught.
Correct. A metal pot for cooking over a fire.
Pass.
Alternative to a presidential primary used in Iowa.
Caucus.
Correct. Something that produces an effect.
Cause.
Correct. To burn the skin to stop a wound from bleeding.
Cauterize.
Correct. Yellow flag at a NASCAR race that indicates danger.
Caution.
Correct. Adjective for a chemical that is highly corrosive.
Caustic.
Correct. A waterproof sealant used in construction.
Caulk.
Correct. Spanish term for a warlord or authoritarian.
Pass.
Metal pot for cooking over a fire.
Cauldron.
Correct. Spanish term for a warlord or authoritarian.
Pass. Well, that's the last one.
That's all we have. We'll take no answer?
Yeah.
Okay, that's our, we'll stop the clock there. 1 left. Eleanor, you have 30 seconds. Take 30 if you want, or if you want to give no answer, we can move on. It's your choice. Here it comes. Give these terms beginning with the letters CAU. Spanish term for a warlord or authoritarian. "30 seconds is a long time, isn't it? Holy cow. That term is caudillo. Caudillo, C-A-U-D-I-L-L-O. But Guilford, I wanted to say this at the end, but of course we needed to move on. You nearly ran that category. Nice job, Guilford Vikings. You added 90 points to your score. It is now a 30-point swing, which in our next round is basically a question and a half. That's all that separates our 2 teams as we head into our final round. This is going to be exciting. Join us for that in just a couple of minutes. Well, after a very strong lightning round, we have a close match here when we enter our Mercy Health Final Challenge. That's where we are, and there's only a 30-point swing between our teams. Keith has 150, Guilford has 120. Our final challenge is a buzz-in. Contestants, same rules as round 1, other than the questions are worth 20 points. The most important rules, especially when we're this close, is wait for me to call your name and say your answer loudly and clearly. Hands on your buzzers, deep breath, good luck. Here we go. What 6-letter word refers to the quality of the sound an instrument makes, which, for example, allows one to distinguish among woodwinds? JC.
Timber.
Yes, you got that. First points of the round. Those are your 20. What organelle has a contractile type that is used to provide turgor pressure and a central type that occupies most of the volume of a plant cell? Eleanor.
Vacuole.
That is correct. Those are your 20. We're back to a 30-point swing. What author won a Pulitzer Prize for a novel about a man named Swede Lvov who owns a glove factory, 1997's American Pastoral? Tough literature question. Philip Roth. In a 1906 speech, Theodore Roosevelt used what term to refer to progressive-era investigative journalists like Lincoln Steffens and Jacob Riis? Marin.
Muckrakers?
That is correct, and those are your 20 points, where you're within 10. What composer, whose last opera was the comic Falstaff, included the chorus Gloria al Egitto in an opera about a doomed princess, Aida? That was Giuseppe Verdi. No points. New question, teams. Thomas Young's double-slit experiment demonstrated interference in what phenomenon in which waves bend as they pass an obstacle? Ryan.
Refraction.
Incorrect. Guilford, you could take these points and go in the lead. That phenomenon is diffraction. What poet compared God to a ship's pilot in Crossing the Bar and praised troops who rode into the Valley of Death in The Charge? Eleanor.
Tennyson.
That is correct. The Charge of the Light Brigade. Keith's 20 points. What commander, whose generals were called the Diadochi, defeated the Persians at the battles of Issus and Gaugamela and was a great king of Macedon? Billy.
Alexander.
That is correct. Alexander the Great. San Ignacio is one of the most populous cities in what Central American country that was once known as British Honduras? Casey.
Honduras.
Incorrect. Keith, you have a chance. Billy.
Belize.
Belize is right, just on the Yucatan Peninsula from Cancun. Cozumel. Keith's 20 points. In what process, with forms named after Gustav Mee and C.V. Raman, are moving particles redirected in collisions with other particles in their paths? Ryan.
Collider.
Incorrect. Guilford, you could get 20 points here. That process is scattering. No points there, and we are out of time. After a great lightning round, and we were close, that gap was so close, Keith kind of pulled away. Guilford, great game. You played a fantastic game. Unfortunately, you can't move on, but we're so glad that you were here. Hopefully you had a great experience. Time for the senior send-off. How many of you are seniors? So just Marin and JC, that means Elena and Casey, you help form the core of next year's team, and you'll come back and visit us, please, right? All right. That was half committal, but I'll take it, Casey. Nice job. Eleanor and Keith, congratulations. You are moving on again. Nice job. It's kind of familiar territory for you. Moving on, starting your march maybe again towards the finale. Who knows, because you've been there before. You will face the winner of next week's game between Lutheran and Dakota. And we hope you can join us for that here on Bergstrom State Line Quiz Bowl. Thanks for being here.